Podere Casaccia. Podere Casaccia, we are really, you almost see the Brunelleschi chapel. We are not so far from Florence, Scandicci. Scandicci is famous for kind of a sad story. A serial killer actually used to live there. But beside that, Scandicci is an area that I usually not really consider it for wine because Colli Fiorentini is not as important as the center part of Greve and Chianti and Gaiolo and Chianti. Sometimes give his wines a bit too fruity in my opinion. So when I actually met Roberto Moretti from Podere Casaccia, I was like shocked by his wines. We have been using these wines for a long time in our wine list and sometimes wine by the glass. But we never had the opportunity to have it for the wine club because he doesn't make a lot of quantity. So I had to ask him year after year, okay, can you reserve a bit some bottles? And the last time he finally said, okay, this year I can give you some wine for the wine club, because we need like almost 1,000 bottles, another 600 bottles of this. And I don't think there is a wine that I don't like by Podere Casaccia. We were there with Giulia, who was there actually? Nicole was there, like a part of our crew. We got a big drunk, I think, at the end of that night. There was a huge sun, we were sweating all over. But listening to Roberto is incredible. He is like a philosopher. He collects any kind of things. His house looks like a Sherlock Holmes house. There's a lot of different elements. Beautiful house, a beautiful design, architect design. And he's a doctor. And it's nice how he has been putting his approach to science into the vineyard, creating a link like, taking care of human beings and taking care of the plants. He used to be kind of a unique doctor because he was not against the medicine, but the idea was about using medicine at the end of a huge listening. It's about, to me, is the empirism. It's about experience. Our main job as doctors is to listen to the person. And he's actually putting the same skills, now he's retired, into the vineyards. So listening to him is amazing because it's actually always this experiential approach. You have to understand a lot of winemakers nowadays, to make it easier, they just call it enologists. They will put a lot of chemicals and fertilizers and selected yeast in order to have a standard flavor. So actually that's the easy shortcut to wine production. So I always like to support winemakers that make more efforts. Their wines are one better than the other. In this case, we're talking about possibly one of the most interesting, surely the best Chianti Colli Fiorentini I've ever tried, and one of the best Chianti of the area. It's kind of a pity because these wines should maybe stay in the cellar for another 5-6 years. So if you want to forget this wine in the cellar and get it back later, is surely a nice thing to do. This is somehow slightly more simple. There is still a 2019, but I wouldn't guess that it's, don't think that this is a huge difference in quality. This is an incredible, also prices are not so different, even though this is level 1 and this is level 2. This is 100% Sangiovese. I would say that this wine is a bit more pure licorice style. This is, you have a bit more hummus, a bit more wet soil. You get that kind of a flavor of a spicy wet soil when you walk in the woods in autumn. Okay, I want to remember one of the quotes of Podere Casaccia. By the way, we are still editing the video. I think we'll be able in mid of November. But at a certain point, he was actually describing, because you have this vineyard that is surrounded by olive trees. And he actually made this statement about the grape and the olive tree, which is the grape is the mother and the olive tree is the father. And I said, what do you mean with that? Because a mother will sacrifice herself for her children, which are the grapes. And that's the grape, that's the vineyard. While the olive tree, he doesn't care. It's about when the olive is ripe, he can let it go. He would never sacrifice his tree for the olive. It's a nice little story that I like to. You will hear on the video. Thank you.